Hello guys, welcome to Rise of Patience, and we are starting the stream soon. This is a mic test. I have with me AZ Kron. Can you say something, Kron?
Hi guys, welcome, and yeah, we're excited to cast this next match. We're just preparing now with the final mic test to make sure that the audio is working okay. So please let us know if something doesn't sound correct, or if you think there's some issue that we can fix before we get into it.
Okay, I'll just play a random replay, so I don't want the game noise to drown out our voices. Okay, so yeah, let me just put something very loud, like in the middle of a battlefield. Okay. So I'm gonna check now, go back and just look at my stream if I can hear, and Ron, you can check as well if everything's good. Yep. We are good to start very soon.
No worries.
Voice, I think. All right, Shreyas. I think Shreyas Rajpurkar. He's an AZ player. I don't know what's his exact ID. Is he Ryuzaki?
Ryuzaki. Yep.
All right, so we've got Shreyas Duzzles in the match, in the chat right now. And yeah, so LAT against LAT is we didn't expect this to happen, well, but they have got 4 teams, so 25% of the tournament is just LATs right now. So you can't avoid LAT playing another LAT.
Oh, exactly. I mean, once you get that number, they would have to get pretty lucky to not face each other at some point early on. So
yeah, and it would be quite interesting to see if LAT wins this tournament just by sheer majority.
That's the best way to do it. I mean, if you want to have the best odds, you need to put in the most teams. And I think some of the other guys like PLA didn't realize they actually, I guess it was lost in translation. They thought that they needed to have at least 7 players on each team.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, it said if your clan wants to enter more than one team, you need to have at least 7 players between both. So I think they might have entered 3 or 4 teams otherwise.
Alright, so we'll be starting in a few minutes. Yeah, so Duzzles is hooting for the LATs. Well, that's a good way to not pick a favorite.
Wow. congratulations on making a bold decision there. I mean, tipping LAT to win this game, who would have thought it?
Yeah, right. Oh
Look,
man.
you've got it. Jeez. Bravery award goes to Duzzle.
Yes, for sure. All right, so I guess I guess
We
we
should.
are ready for for our first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's load it up and let's get this LAT versus LAT All-Star match underway.
Yes. So, just before we start with the game, I would like to look at the roster of the both teams so we can have a little introduction. Or would you like to do that while we are in the game?
Yeah, look, I think if you've got it handy, yeah, absolutely. Let's do the introduction first, or we can do it during the match.
So yeah, I feel it'll be better to do it during the match so that we only introduce players who are actually playing in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think these LAT rosters are quite large, and there's quite a few players on there. So, yeah, during those first few minutes when everyone's building their cities, plenty of time for us to talk about, who's playing, what the nations are, and yeah, what to expect from this match between two teams.
That's right. And just for any viewers watching my stream, so we have got two games already done in the preliminary round. The first game was PLA2 versus Ind, where Ind won by 2-0. Then next we had L versus S Underground, where L won with another 2-0. And this is the section WB1.8, seed 6 versus seed 11. And we're going to find out who wins this one. Whoever wins this one is going to face either PLA or AZ2 in the quarterfinals. So yeah, this is quite an exciting match right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it will be yeah, interesting to see. Obviously, the winner both. Or it's going to be a LAT taking the victory here, but which LAT team is it going to be? You've got LAT-1 versus LAT-4, which you would think on paper. Well, obviously LAT-1 you would think would have the better players on their team, but at the end of the day, Rise of Nations is a great game, not only because it's of the exceptional strategy and the different nations, different rares, but because any team can win on any day. And trust me, I can say this is a fact because I've personally seen it. For example, the player Tiger, also known as Issues.
Yeah.
Generally in the community, really great guy, not necessarily known as the best Nomad player of all time. But I've seen plenty of teams get together with him, and teamwork overrules sheer skill sometimes. And I've seen some really cool strategies. So just because LAT-4 might not be on the same level as far as pure player skill goes, doesn't mean anything that upsets can't happen. And I mean, we saw this earlier on in the tournament with AS Underground versus EL. On paper, that was heavily in favor of EL, but we did notice that if you get two good players together that have a good strategy, it can really make for a close game. And to be honest, I think EL were a bit shocked with how strong AS performed in that game, with taking the cap, and they kind of got bailed out in the end by some really good play by iRush with Dutch.
Right.
So
yeah, I completely agree with that. The EL versus AS game was more close than I expected it. And in the first game, I was almost sure that they're going to beat L. So yeah, it all depends on your teamwork, and even though it does depend on your skills, but in this tournament, there are no noobs taking part in this tournament. Everybody is at least an inter, and we can always expect something to go around what we are not expecting. And meanwhile, in the chats, Shreyas or Ruzaki says that he once lost to Grax. Well, I don't. Well, Grax is not one of the best players. I think Issue can beat Grax easily, man. That's not something to be proud of.
Look, everyone's probably played with Grax because I think Grax has played something like 8,000 games on Steam, and so the odds are pretty high that you've played with him at some point. But when it comes to Grax, I mean, yeah, look, that's the beauty of Ron. Anyone can win. I've seen Grax play a game once where he sat back and oh god, it was the funniest game. We were playing against Zen Mechanics and a couple of other good players, and Grax just sat there and he built a Colossus, then he built a Hanging Gardens, and then finally he built pyramids. And we were thinking, we were just fighting on the front lines the whole game, and he sat back and just boomed like there was absolutely no tomorrow. And his economy was something like 250, 250, 250 across the board, full universities. And then finally we were starting to lose on the front lines. Grax just turns up with infinite queue military units just coming out of his barracks. I think he had 7 barracks, 7 stables. He does not know how to micro, but just with that sheer economy, he just steamrolled the other team, and it was the most amazing moment of my life so far.
Yeah, well, yeah. Based on all my games with Drats, I mean Grax, I would say that yeah, he's not somebody who I would count on for early rush. If I'm playing with him, I would just try to defend while he will always get a wonder. I think he cannot play without Colossus.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I was surprised by is that, with this tournament we've got the best players from across the world. I didn't see any teams reaching out to Grax to, bring him on as their, ace up the sleeve, just a wildcard player that you can throw on there to mix things up. But look, I mean, that's every team's loss. I mean, Grax is probably having the last laugh right now. He doesn't need a team to know how good he is, so absolutely salutations to Grax if you're out there listening. You're a legend of the game.
I respect you, Grax. Yeah, you're one of the best boomers I know in this game. All right, and meanwhile, Sergio in the background, he's being a little sassy like always, being Sergio-like. He's saying he doesn't think Issue can beat Grax, and maybe that's a matchup we should have soon as well. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think I saw something in the chat about Grax being unstoppable once he reaches the information age.
that was nice.
I can confirm that yes, information age rush is something that Grax is really good at, especially in Nomad. So
yeah, he calls it a early rush, but well, we're just joking about Grax. If you're watching this, it's just plain banter. Don't take anything seriously. Yeah, we love you for being a part of the community. You're one of the most active players I see all the time in Nomad, in the lobby at least.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you think? Should we kick off and get straight into the first game between LAT-1 and LAT-4?
Yes, let's begin. So I'm gonna open the replay and pause it right at the beginning. So and we'll try to be in the sync throughout the game.
Yep, no worries. I'll do the same and I'll pause it as soon as it loads.
All right, I'm here at the 1 second mark.
Yep, I'm at the 0 second mark. All right, 1 second. So are we ready to go?
Yeah. So all the viewers, just let me know if this chat box is obstructing your view of the game. Based on what I can see here, it's not affecting a lot. But if you, at any point you think it should be placed anywhere else, like the top corner or anywhere else, just let me know.
Hey, good luck with that, eh?
Unless if you would like to see the scores, so I can move it a little bit up. Maybe I'll just move my chat box a little bit towards the upper side so that the scores are visible. Oh yeah, no, I will let the scores be visible.
All right, and how many seconds into the game are you at the moment?
Okay, I'm sorry, I played it meanwhile. It's 18 seconds. So yeah, can you just reach 18 seconds and we'll play together?
Okay, yep, I'm at 18, so let's start.
All right, 1, 2, 3, start.
All right, let's go. So here we go. This is LAT-1 versus LAT-4. And for those that are wondering which team is LAT-1 and which is LAT-4, we've got LAT-1 being Lat Kane, Lat Snow, and Lat Inca as the red, green, and yellow players. And then we've got LAT-4, which is Alan, KO Pompilio, and Dark Master leading the LAT-4 team here.
All right, and so looking at the Reds team, do you know who Lat Kane is? That's something we have been hearing from in the chat as well. And I don't think this nickname has been registered.
Yeah, I think there has been a bit of chatter amongst the community. I mean, there's not a lot known about the LAT-1 team for some of their players. On their roster, they've got we know who Snow is. That's Azteca, one of the best players to ever play Nomad. And I know who Inca is because I've played with Inca many a time. But Lat Kane, there is a little bit of an unknown factor there because I suspect it's a fireman with a different name, and fireman was a bit of an unknown because he was basically an old GameSpy pro who hasn't played for many years, but apparently was super pro back when he used to play, and has come back just for this tournament to bring pride to the LAT guys and give them the best chance of winning.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess we'll soon find out. I guess whether he fits the mold of an old GameSpy pro as the game goes on, because definitely his nickname's kind of thrown a little bit of uncertainty out there at the moment.
Do you know if Kane is registered as a player? I just don't remember.
No, at the moment I don't believe so. I believe it's Inca, Snow, Kane, Coco, and there's one additional player I don't have in front of me right now, but it's definitely not Kane.
All right, so maybe we should let the viewers know, if you are a participant in this tournament, you should try to play with the same nick as you have registered with, and we'll also tell Inca that in future all the participants should have the same name as you're registered with. Just clears out the confusion and keeps you out of controversy. We don't want anyone to be asking you to be disqualified just because you used a different name.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we look at this map that's spawned, I guess we haven't touched on the map yet, but this is Watering Hole, which is probably, it's a controversial map, but I also find it's quite a unique map because essentially, for those that don't play much Rise of Nations, it's a map where there's a pond in the middle which has all the fish, and essentially what normally happens on this map is that each fish is so valuable in Rise of Nations because each fish gives you 10 food and 10 gold, and the whole advantage of having that gold early on in this game is that gold turns into knowledge, and basically knowledge gives you power, and knowledge gives you the ability to reach age 3 and age 4 a lot quicker. So teams really, really want to get that fish. The only problem is when you've got a pond in the middle of the map, everyone can just fight each other and try and kill the other people's fishermen, which means you often see huge naval fights between massive armadas of triarmies, and they're just constantly shooting at each other, trying to get superiority, all while trying to balance the land side of it as well.
Yes, so yeah, this is quite an annoying map because you have to balance both of your naval battles and your land battles, and if you spend too much time on one, you can lose the other one. So yeah, I really find this map annoying whenever I get it in team games. Yeah, I usually don't participate a lot on water. I just try to finish the game on land as soon as possible. I'm not saying that's a good strategy. It's just out of sheer annoyance from naval fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if we look at the players too, there are actually so the best maps, the best nations to be on this map. Normally, it comes down to Spanish being the most obvious one. So Spanish on a normal land map aren't necessarily that strong, but on a water map like this, the key advantage of Spain is that whenever you build a dock, you get a free triarmy, and getting a free triarmy, which normally would cost approximately 90 wood, is just a huge early game advantage, and it can really swing the tide in your favor, especially during that initial battle for those fish. And of all the players here, I noticed that LAT-1, who's the blue player, has actually spawned as Spain, and so that's already a key kind of start there for the LAT-4 team as far as they're coming into this match as the potential underdogs here, but having Spain on this map, and if you look at the rare resources too, this is very important to note. There's actually copper just next to the purple base there for who's also on LAT-4. So the fact that they can get copper, which as a rare resource gives your ships 20% extra hit points, is huge on this map. That can literally turn the whole game. So far this is looking like LAT Team 4 have got a pretty favorable start here.
Yes.
It'll just come down to how well they can execute on it and take advantage.
Right, definitely. The copper is one of the best rare resources in this game, and I mean on this map specifically because we don't have citrus anywhere else. So this being the only water resource, like something you can use for an advantage on water. And with Spanish already get the free heavy ships whenever they get a dock. So this is going to be definitely something they should be using. Well, and
Absolutely.
another another nation that's good for naval battles is Dutch. I would say they're I would even argue they can be better than Spanish because while they also get a free light ship, which is not as good as the heavy ship, but their ship upgrades are 10% cheaper, I guess.
Yeah, and that comes in handy, especially when you get to age 2 and you want to upgrade your triremes to something more powerful that can survive the fire ships. That's definitely something that really comes in handy. And if you look at green here, the action's already started. This was actually a Mil 1 build. Military 1 was the first research here by LAT Snow, which is also known as Azteca. So very aggressive start to his game. Normally most people would go commerce first, but you can see the raid here coming onto light blue, and light blue does have his barracks out, so he should be able to fend this off, but already some early economic damage here.
Yeah, and I would like to commend Pompilio that he was able to, I don't know if he was just going for the same strategy as Snow, or he found out about or he was expecting a rush from Snow, because to have your own barracks right when the opponent has it, it's just the best thing ever, because you don't have to count on being able to survive after getting commerce. It just worked out for him.
Absolutely, and I guess, I mean, to their credit, yeah, both players knew that they were close to the other capital city, because the fact is their border was so close. And, you know, naturally in those spots it can be vulnerable to get attacked with Mil 1. But, yeah, look, both players obviously thinking alike there, and it probably worked out best for Light Blue, because he was able to repel that fairly easily without taking any losses, and then transition into commerce.
That's right. I would also like to point out that British is kind of a water nation as well. If you look at their faster production of boats, which I guess is, let me see, it's around 20% or something. They get faster production of boats.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're trying to spam out those ships, especially in this early game, you know, every second counts, because if you've got 2 ships firing against 1, that's immediately a massive advantage. And you can see that there's already a bit of a fight here in the middle between the 2 free units from Spain and from the Dutch player. And you can see that obviously the Trireme is going to win that fight every day of the week.
Oh, but, yeah.
but that small ship is trying to get away, and you can see that, you know, Kane is showing some good micro here. And early on, I'm thinking this is definitely possibly this fireman character that we've heard about.
Oh yeah, I want to say he's the fireman character, but we would still be confirming it with LAT Inca whenever we get a chance. On the other side, yellow player Inca has got French, and I also think French has got a slight advantage on water just because of their plus 10% commerce cap for timber.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, on this map, timber is very, very important, especially compared to other maps. And often you can kind of win or lose based on, you know, how many trees you can secure, and sometimes it can come down to, you know, fights over territory to try and secure those forests or little wood camps, I guess. And if you look around here, so obviously Paris and, you know, the French player having the extra wood as part of their bonus really helps in that early game, especially if you don't get a good start and a good number of trees that would normally hurt you a lot. Yeah, the French can kind of mitigate that a bit.
Yeah, and it looks like, I would say even Aztecs are great on water maps just because this constant battle gives them an early mileage. They can use this battle to get a lot of plunder, and, you know, it's always good to be constantly on a battle when you are Aztecs.
Yeah, absolutely. And can I ask you a question? So if we look at these 2 nations, we've got Aztecs, Spanish, and Indians versus, you know, the British, Dutch, and French. which set of nations do you think has the slight advantage on this map, just in a 3v3 battle on watering hole?
I feel it's quite a balanced game. Dutch is not much like Dutch is not a really good nation in Nomad, but on water maps they come handy. And well, British is easily one of the best nations in Nomad just because of their archers. Those British longbowmen are too strong, and I'm guessing Snow, just because he's Azteca. Azteca is known to be an aggressive player. He'll be going Despot very likely, and if he does that, then it becomes very difficult to stop British rush.
Yeah,
on the other
absolutely.
side, they've got French. French, of course, is a good nation, but French is only valuable if I would say without despotism, the early advantage of French is overshadowed. So unless Inca goes despot, he's not going to be making much use of the French bonus, because apart from the despot, then they'll only be relying on the supply wagon for the healing, and supply wagon is something that can be easily raided. So I won't count on that. But on this side, Aztecs is one of my favorite nations, just because if you use them properly, you can be the strongest player in the game. Just keep raiding, keep getting the plunder, and turn that plunder into more army or more boom.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
no doubt, Indians are a really good nation because of the free elephant upgrades. I guess Indians don't have any particular advantage on water, but they're just good for booming. And if used properly, I don't think Caio Pompeo should have any problem surviving here. However, we should note that he's against Kane and Snow, and if Kane is fireman, then he's against two of the best players. So it's going to be quite difficult for Pompilio to survive here.
Yeah, I think Pompilio might be in, under some earlier pressure at least, and it'll be interesting to see how Pompilio reacts here, because as the Indian player, I do like, if as an Indian player you've got to play defensive, sometimes it can be really handy to take advantage of, the nation's benefits. So with India, you get, cheap units, cheap buildings. The buildings don't generally increase in value unless they're military, and if they're military, it's still a lot cheaper than any other nation. So you can spam towers, you can spam barracks, you can spam stables a lot more effectively than you can with any other nation. And elephants are great when you're defending, because elephants that are defending can't be bribed. And the worst thing you can do as Indians is when you're sending elephants to attack and suddenly the other senator bribes your elephant and uses it against you.
Oh yeah.
So I like to see elephants used as a defensive mechanism as well.
All right, and Alan just asked if Pompilio is doing fine. Well, yeah, if I was Pompilio, I would be calling these guys to quickly finish Inca as soon as possible, because yeah, definitely Pompilio is going to find it very difficult to survive against two of these.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see, is that a second tower going down as well? For Pompilio, so we'll have to see. They obviously are definitely respecting LAT-1. You can see the LAT-4 guys here know who they're up against. They're up against legends of the game when it comes to the South American scene. Mm-hmm. And I think, to be honest, it's like when you're playing against, your elders, the people that you respected. You might also be a bit more nervous as well. And it's interesting to see if they can control those nerves and channel them into some quality play here, or if nerves might get the best of them.
That's right. And let's look at the rare resources quickly. And first I'll start with salt, and as Duzzles pointed out in the chat, salt is going to be the most important for Pompilio, at least, because he looks like he's up against these two. And looking at the delayed government research from Azteca or Snow, I'm pretty sure that he is going for despotism. And looking at his army, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's getting despotism. And since Pompilio is not using salt, he's making a huge mistake right there. He should be towering that salt if possible, or at least be using that. And
look, I think,
and no doubt obsidian. Yes, they need obsidian for this.
Yeah, the good thing about obsidian is that you can just park those archers behind your city, and try and defend against that despot. Because, I mean, at the moment, without obsidian, without salt, you're up against perhaps one of the best players there is, and And with the British player and the Dutch player with a good economy here, you can see that the pressure's about to mount, and you can only see one player defending. So it looks like there's going to be two doubles on both sides, and it's going to come down to the classic who can kill the other guy faster situation.
Yeah, but it looks like Fireman and Azteca are a little faster here. Well, their team has already secured the water, so they've got an advantage there already. And yeah, as you were talking about, Azteca has gone Despot. I don't see a lot of army from Pompilio, so I think he's just going to have to survive somehow. He's also not deleted his Senate. He's not started deleting it. Well, that's not good for him. And these minor things is what separates an inter from an advanced player. Not using salt, not deleting your capital when you know you're being doubled by two great players, and not using obsidian when you definitely need it. So he's got two archers. He's got more archers than anything else. So yeah, obsidian should be an obvious option for him.
Yeah, that's it. And you can see that the third tower is going down now for KO Pompilio, and to be honest, I think that's a good move. I think he needs as many towers as he can afford right now, because there's no easy way to defend against two good players attacking your base. Unfortunately, the sheer maths of it means they're going to have two armies versus your one. Even if you're trying to defend perfectly with militia and with attrition and whatnot, attrition obviously won't work against a despot opponent as well. And this is where it comes down to that team play, and whether light blue can basically just dig in, hold off, and allow purple and blue to double Inca, who's actually gone Hanging Gardens here, which is a very questionable decision, I feel, because and he's built his capital at the front at Versailles.
Yeah, it's like he's asking for to be killed right there.
That is fascinating. So let's just quickly talk about this. This appears to be a huge blunder here by Inca. We'll see if it turns out to really cost his team, because he's tried to build his Senate to make Paris his capital, but because it's right halfway between Versailles and Paris, it's actually made his capital Versailles, which is so vulnerable to getting doubled here. And there's just no units. He's built a wonder which costs a lot of food and gold, and so therefore he's got no army to defend here.
Oh my god, I can't believe Inca lost his capital to... So that's a 1 versus 1. That there's not even a double here. And it's very important for Dark Master to go and help Pompilio, because Pompilio is doing really good. He did mess up at one point where he sent his army forward, but I think he definitely deserves help right now. And since Dark Master is not doing anything else, I don't see his army everywhere. He has some minor raids going on, but if he should definitely save Caio Pompilio. Pompilio looks like a decent player here. He's been holding on against two, and he's still not lost a city. So that's something commendable, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see those elephants really on your task here. I mean, as I said before, the best thing about elephants when you're defending is they can't get bribed, and they just sit there, and you can feel secure and know that it's almost a mental thing as well as making it hard for the opponent, because they just take so long to kill.
Yeah, and LAT-1 just lost his spot. So I would also say if Caio Pompilio gets attrition upgrades, he can still survive in the game, because in that way he'll just have to fight against one of these guys who has a despotism upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, look at that. He is still there strong with 3 elephants and some archers. I just feel like if he received proper help from Dark Master, he might have actually survived this whole thing.
Yeah, this is really interesting play, and I mean, at the same time, Purple is raiding at Red's capital, but the dynamics here are quite exciting, because you've got one player, obviously Inca is in a world of pain here, lost his capital and probably about to lose his second, and the wonder that goes with it. So if the LAT guys from LAT Team 4 could just stay calm and just relax and just defend Light Blue's capital and keep that player in the game, this is definitely looking in their favor right now. And if I was the guys on LAT Team 1, I'd be a little bit concerned. I mean, the underdogs are trumping you guys right now and making you look like fools.
Definitely. And well, Lat Allen has been playing a lot of 1v1s in the lobby. I have played a few with him, and he's definitely a decent player. But looks like his 1v1 skills are being brought into practice right now. He's taken on Inca by himself, and I would even love to see a quick heavy infantry rush from Dark Master back at the Hague in Red's capital. That would be quite interesting to see him taking out the capital. But yeah, we're not going to see that. It's just something I wish. And we've got Immaculate in the chat. So hey Immaculate, we see you. If you guys have anything to say for our commentary, if we missed anything, you want to correct something, or just say hi, yeah, you're welcome to do that. I have put up a chat box right here so we can all see you and we can respond to you as well. Actually, we have not talked about the rare resources on the other side. So on the other side, they have got horses, definitely great. And I'm just in the perspective of yellow right now, and looks like he's receiving resources from red.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, smart play then, because I mean, you know, red and green know that they can't afford to let Inca die. At least not die easily. I mean, playing a 2v3, two great players. I'm sure if anyone can do it, it's probably Snow and Kane here. But at the same time, the sheer numbers. And while we say that, they're actually going in for Light Blue's capital here as well. So,
and Caio Pompilio was a little late to get his militia out. I think his militia would have helped them hold here. But it just feels bad. I feel Dark Master is not playing up to the point. He should be doing more. This is clearly a 2 versus 1. This 2 versus 3, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Look, Dark Master probably, great experience for him, but that's the whole point of these tournaments. You need to play your best game, and if you don't play that well, or if you don't do as what you were trying to do, you learn from your mistakes. But yeah, definitely some pointers to take from this game so far. But yeah, look, I feel like LAT-4 were in a great position earlier, and then suddenly, they're letting it slip away. They've still got Inca's cap, and they just need to hold on one more minute. But look, these guys just need to slow down a bit, because if they can consolidate, take out Inca, and then somehow defend and retake that capital, they'll still be in a good spot to win.
And look at Pompilio's city. He's still there, strong with some elephants. I mean, I have got a lot of respect for Pompilio after this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like great defensive play. Made the most of his nation as Indians. Plenty of elephants, plenty of towers early on against that double, and looks still in it against arguably 2 of the best Latin American players there are.
Right, and looks like Inca. Oh no, Snow is here. He is.
Oh, Inca is charging as well with all of his militia, I believe.
But
trying to retake that capital desperately.
Yeah, but they're dead. So it looks like we are down to a 2 versus 3 now. And if I was Alan, I would quickly rush to save Pompilio.
Yeah, if they can save Pompilio, then they're in a good spot. They've got the Hanging Gardens too, and that's huge in this game, and the silver as well. They've captured that silver. So if they can just consolidate, defend for a bit, and get their economy back up and running, they'll be in a great spot. But you can see that Green here Snow is defending that Hanging Gardens, and it looks like he has temporarily retaken it. No, okay, it's gone back again.
It's gone back again. Just to be in sync, what time point are you at right now?
Yeah, so I'm at the 23-minute mark.
Okay, I'm 15 seconds ahead of you. Do you want me to resync?
No, that's okay. I'm all good. I'm actually following the stream as well. So.
All right then. So here, this is turning into a 2 versus 3 now. Well, but there's a strong army from red side. I really feel bad. Like if I was Caio Pompilio at this point, or maybe even Dark Master, I would be rolling around in my sleep and just wondering if I could have done something else in this game. Oh man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. Look, that's live and learn, I guess. But at the moment, LAT Team 4 are technically in a 3v2, but look, with not really much hope here of retaking that capital, it's looking increasingly likely that this will be a 2v2, and yeah, it's going to come down to who can hold their nerve.
All right, so we got Alan and Darkmaster versus Snow and Kane, and Snow and Kane are, yeah, definitely their best players. I didn't expect this game to be so intense. Yeah, just as Immaculate said, I was expecting this to be an easy game for the LAT-1 team, but looks like LAT-4 is giving them a big fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like, you know, Lat Allen, I'd say probably, you know, most improved player so far in this game. He's really impressed me with that quick attack on taking out Inca. But you know, you look at, you know, the classic favorites here. Obviously Azteca, also known as Snow. Yeah, great player. His skill is shining through here.
Allen just lost his Senator. That's not something I would expect in a high-level game. And he's also making a mistake of going by himself. He should wait for Darkmaster.
Yeah, and the Senator does go down. And yeah, increasingly looking a little bit bleak. The future looks a bit bleak for LAT-4 now, because you can just see on the map control, they don't have the pond anymore, so they've got none of that gold income coming in. And look, it does look like Blue's retaken the Hanging Gardens, and if they can hold the Hanging Gardens, they might have a chance here. But look, they need to kind of sit back and, you know, consolidate a bit, because at the moment all the momentum is with LAT Team 1.
And the LAT Team 4 is making minor mistakes, like Alan should not be running around with his siege units. Unless of course he wants to siege down this city, Faridabad here. And yeah, and he has deleted his Senate, so that's a good move, and he should be moving that to Almeria on the other side. But
yeah,
well,
exactly. I mean,
we're seeing a nice attack from red and green. They are using salt and horses both, so that's a deadly combination.
Yeah, and the LAT Team 4 guys, they just need to make the most of, you know, the new rare resources they captured. So the silver near where the Hanging Gardens are, they definitely need to be making sure they try and utilize every advantage they can to try and get back in this, because, you know, coming up against, you know, salt and horses and great mica as well, that's a tough recipe.
That's right. And look at Red's economy. He's got a plus 200 plus food and wood, and that cannot be good for the LAT Team 4.
Oh, that is absolutely insane. I mean, look at the marker in the game, you know, not even 27 minutes in, and having an economy that big, that just shows you the power of the Dutch. Obviously, with the Dutch, the more resources you have, the more money you get, and it's probably the only nation where, you know, it's not necessarily a good thing to spend your money fast, because it just accumulates so quickly once you have that reserve in place. And yeah, look, I think green and red here are just kind of riding that economy to a slow victory based on the way this game's going so far.
Yeah, and purple just said that I think it's over, and I guess they are on the verge of giving up. I don't see purple's army. Purple's army is quite scattered everywhere, and I also don't see his senator.
Yeah, I believe it looks like I must admit, I'm impressed with your Spanish.
Oh,
I couldn't
man,
quite understand.
he's look at his senator. Can you find out his senator?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's in a corner and it's not doing anything. That's really bad play from purple there.
Oh yeah, that's probably a miss rally, or, you know, I'm not sure if he just wanted to go and see the sights. I mean, there's a nice mountain out that
yeah,
way.
But,
Like,
let my country burn.
Action, my friend.
Oh, and
no.
look at that! Alan actually defended against that attack, man. Kudos to Alan. These players, Alan and Pompilio, they have shown exceptional play in this one. Alan has changed his capital, so he's in a safer place right now.
Yeah, Alan's doing a great job. I mean, definitely, it's too early to say MVP, but I mean, as far as, you know, impressing beyond what I thought I'd see today, Alan has definitely gone above and beyond. But it does look like, you know, Snow has realized that, you know, that Hanging Gardens is quite important to take, and recapturing that Hanging Gardens is yeah, just a further kind of strong advantage that the LAT Team 1 guys have in their favor right now. I mean, holding that Hanging Gardens just means that, you know, you're just going to get to age 3 and age 4 that much faster. And I mean, they're already at age 3, so I'd be expecting that, you know, in the next next 5 minutes, assuming the game keeps going, we're probably going to start seeing gunpowder units start to come out soon.
All right, yeah, definitely. And look at Dark Master's capital. His Senate is not being deleted, and he's fighting somewhere else. He really needs to get back and defend. Alan has got a nice army himself, but I don't see him moving yet. Oh no, he is on the move right now. And we've got Lionel Messi in the chat. Can you, if you, we don't know who you are. I'm sure real Lionel Messi does not play Rise of Nations. So can you tell us who you are?
I think, yeah, look, if Lionel Messi played Rise of Nations, what nation would he play as? That's the question I ask myself. Is he a Spanish player because he plays in Spain? Or is he more of a Maya or Incan with the Argentina connection? I'm not sure, but we'll have to ask him that.
Oh yeah, and he says he's AZ Kron. Man, who am I talking to right now?
Wow, I'm so flattered. I'm glad that Lionel Messi is trying to pretend to be me. That's
oh yeah. And this game is not very historically accurate. Spanish fighting alongside Aztecs to just kill French and British and Dutch. Yeah, that does not look good.
No, exactly. We just need the Japanese in there to make it even more realistic. But yeah, we've got the capital here getting sieged, and you know, big armies coming in. We've got Blue here trying to defend, so looks like Blue's got a decent army going here as well. And
oh yeah, and Blue is sandwiched Red in between. But it looks like Dark Master may be losing that capital very soon.
Yeah, Dark Master is in trouble here. I mean, just the sheer number of units here coming from LAT Team 1, it's not looking so great for LAT Team 4 right now. And as we just saw, you know, the capital does go down, and you know, that's 500 more resources of everything. That's going to a team that was already in a really strong position.
Oh yes, just click on Red's units and look at his economy. That's fabulous.
Yeah, that's oh, absolutely. That is a sight to see. And I mean, when you see that number of resources coming in, I take my hat off. I salute you, sir. You're a Rise of Nations god in this game. That is an economy we all love to see. So hats off to Red. Lat Kane. I suspect that might be this might be the fireman that we heard about.
Yes, and there comes the GG. And for anybody watching this, what Kane said is not Spanish. He just banged his head on the keyboard. That's probably it. Because
that's the universal language for wow.
And man, what an unexpected game. I mean, a lot of mistakes by the LAT Team 4 guys, but the biggest one that I would say is Dark Master not helping Pompilio when he needed the most.
I think that was the key here, because I mean, like, what an interesting game. I mean, it started out, you've obviously got LAT Team 1 versus LAT Team 4. You naturally give the advantage to LAT Team 1 just because they've got some of the best players on their team. But then, you know, we've got Watering Hole, and the LAT Team 4 guys got it probably a little bit favourable as far as, you know, they got Spain, they got the copper, and so they had better rares, arguably better nations, and you know, they, I guess, probably didn't take advantage of that as far as, you know, securing the water, because I feel like, you know, like any game on Watering Hole, you either secure the water, you secure the fish, or you go for a big land rush. And I feel like in this particular match, it kind of went the other way, as in Team 1, LAT Team 1 are able to, you know, secure the fish, secure the gold, and rush at the same time, which kind of left the LAT Team 4 guys always on the back foot. But then at the same time, you had Inca building the Hanging Gardens while he's facing two players.
Oh yeah,
building a capital at his front city.
That was a blunder of the century for now.
I think people are going to be talking about that particular move for generations. I mean, you look at where he built his Senate; it was almost halfway between these two cities. But tip for our new players out there: if you ever build your Senate and you're not sure which city it's in, make sure you left click on it and just double check, because you never know. Everyone's probably done it once or twice before, but you know, if you're playing a tournament match that's being broadcast to the entire world, I'm sure Ink is sitting there probably watching this at some point and thinking, oh man,
yeah,
just want to bury my head in the sand right now and and hope the world passes me by. But it happens, and people make mistakes, and that's just Inca lived today to share a lesson to everyone else who watched this today.
Definitely.
So,
And what else I think could have been done better? Pompilio, as we said before, did not use salt and obsidian. I guess if he was using salt and obsidian, he would have held on for another minute, enough time for Lat Allen to come back and save him. That was very much possible.
yeah, absolutely. I think that rotation would have really helped in that situation. They knew that they had Inca's capital, and they knew that if they can just hold it, and defend and have 3 versus 2, you've naturally got a huge numbers advantage. You got 3 economies versus 2 economies. Doesn't matter how good the other guys are, but everyone plays 3v2 or 4v3 games online every now and again, and unless they can get a capital of yours, generally speaking, the team with the more players can normally win just due to sheer numbers.
Oh yeah, definitely. 2 versus 3 is never good in a long drawn battle. You can handle it for a while, but if it goes on for more than 10 minutes, well, you better finish one of them quickly, or it's GG. And what you asked me earlier in the game about the nations, now considering that the French player went for Wonder and did not go Despotism, I would say that the LAT Team 4 had better nations now, because the Aztecs with Spanish and Indians, yeah, that's a good combination. While I would say in the LAT-1 team, the British with the Despotism was the best combination. That was a good use of British. Dutch was not bad. It's just that Dutch does not get a lot of bonuses in Nomad, so that's all right. And French bonus was completely lost when he went Senator. I wonder if Inca had gone Despotism, did not build that Wonder, he might have been able to at least hold Allen. He may even have killed Allen on this side.
Yeah, I think and Inca is, each player has the way that their style that they love to play. And I mean, anyone that's played with Inca knows that Inca loves wonders. He loves Colossus. I think I said it in the pre-tournament show. I just remember whenever I play with Inca, he always loves to get a wonder. Kind of a little bit like Grax in a way. And I don't say that as a bad thing. It's just a style. And it pays off in the long game. But if you're not good enough to defend in the short game, the best players that build wonders early are the ones that can build it and actually defend properly and survive. And Inca there, look, just a really, really unusual position to try and build that wonder when you're facing 2 players that are in close proximity. Then he's made the blunder with the capital, and look, it obviously hasn't worked out, but he's got 2 great teammates who have recognized this, and they knew that they had to kind of win their side quicker, and they were able to do so. And just wanted to add, anyone that's watching, please note this is just game 1. This is a best of 3, so there is games 2 and 3 coming up.
Yes.
And obviously, game 2 and then game 3 will be dependent on whether or not LAT Team 4 can square it back to 1-1. But please do stay tuned, because we do have another match coming up very, very shortly.
Oh yeah, and we've got Brontofus in the chat. Yeah, thanks Brontofus. And I'm seeing you after a long time. Hope you're back to Rise of Nations. I know Bronto is an Indian player, and he should probably be in the in team, because we really need players. We've got 969, Quantum Floyd, and Octave right now, and they're doing a really good job. But we would like to get, maybe for a next tournament, whenever that happens, we could have 2 in teams, like a team 1 and team 2. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we close out of this match, I just thought it might be worth going to the stats screen for a moment and just clicking on the resource graph tab and just having a look there, because I mean, I often find that at the end of a match, you can really just summarize the whole game just by quickly looking at the graphs for the score graph, the resource graph, and the military graph. So I mean, if you look at this resource graph, you've got, obviously red, Lat Kane here, started with Dutch. Dutch are a great kind of economic boom nation, and you can see that he also got to age 2 fastest, and I think that was helped by probably somewhat helped by starting with really, really good wood. I think he had eight woodcutters at the very beginning, which can be huge, because it means you don't need to build 2 woodcutter camps, which means you save 70 food there, which all adds up to a faster age 2. Whereas if you look at the other players there, look, they just didn't have quite the same number of trees to start with. and plus they probably just didn't have quite the same, macro ability to really get that economy booming as quickly as Red did. Obviously, you can see that Inca's graph there is interesting because on paper his resource graph went up really quick because he had the hanging gardens. But when you invest too much money into that economy, you see what happens. You don't have an army to defend, and if you get doubled, then that's it. And if you can click on the Duzzle's just commented, then if you go to the military graph here,
so
units killed versus units lost. This is a great indicator of who is using that army effectively. It's not just about building units, but if you can trade and kill more units with less, obviously you're going to come out with a better outcome.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it looks like Kane and Snow, they build the same amount of units, and I can't believe it. Look, Lat Allen is the one with the highest kills. That guy definitely played it real good in this game.
Oh, amazing play by Alan, and really surprised me. But haven't played too many games with Alan before. But he's shown that he's a player that could probably play on many rosters in this tournament and do really well. So definitely carried his team to a really strong showing in his first match.
And I would also like to point out the kill to death ratio of Caio Pompilio. You should remember that he was 2 versus 1. And he had about the same kill to death ratio as Dark Master. So it just tells you how good he was defending.
Yeah, and then you look at Kane's kill to death ratio: 82 units killed, 43 units lost. That is almost a 2-to-1 ratio.
Oh there. Yeah, that definitely tells you about a good micromanagement there.
Exactly, and I mean it's all about good micro, but it's also about using your army well, not losing units in situations where you shouldn't. And having the right army composition so that you can basically perfectly counter whatever your opponent's throwing at you. So that's a pretty sick stat right there.
And just for Snow, I would say that Snow was at one point he was fighting on 2 fronts. He did come to help Inca, and I guess maybe that's why his kill to loss ratio is a little skewed, not as good as Kane, because Kane was fighting on one side throughout the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think overall though, really close match. Really interesting. Obviously, we had multiple cap sacks, and I mean there was no particular obvious winner in that beginning stage until LAT Team 1 started to really consolidate and retake that hanging gardens, and from that point forward, it kind of looked bad for Team 4.
Right, and we've got Gunalan message that what happened to Dave. Well, Dave retracted to L Team, so he is no longer a part of IND right now. And
yeah, exactly.
He deleted his message, but yeah, that's something. And is it a good time to proceed to the next game?
I think we should just jump straight into it. And just so everyone knows, at the moment we're casting live on YouTube. RiseOfPatience is the main channel we're casting from. We're also live on twitch.tv/EasyCronHD is my channel where there's a restream going. And make sure you tune in, guys. Make sure you share with your friends. If you've got anyone on your Steam friends list at the moment that doesn't know that we're live, please copy paste the link to them. This is all about sharing the tournament and sharing the excitement. So please share it with anyone you think would be interested to watch a nice entertaining match here between the two LAT clans here.
Alright, so I am loading the second game.
Alright, I'm loading as well, so let's get to the 5-second mark. So bear with me. Alright, I'm at 5 seconds.
Alright, 5, go.
Go. Alright, here we go. So let's get straight into the second match here. So we have LAT Team 1 versus LAT Team 4 again. And the map here is a different map to Watering Hole. It is Mesa.
Oh man, then this map is the second most annoying map after Watering Hole.
Oh, and that's it. And why is it annoying? That's the question I asked you, Tim.
Oh,
why
man,
is it annoying?
This map is so annoying. So it's annoying for anybody who's not Spanish, because first you can get a really bad start if one of your villagers is stuck on a hill and it is just not able to find his way back to build the city. Man, that really sucks. That's the first part. And next, when you send your villagers for scouting, they often go in a roundabout. They keep walking in the same place if they cannot find a way around the mountain. Unless, of course, you're Spanish, you can see the whole map, so you can just put down the what it's called, checkpoints. Yeah, you can just put down the checkpoints, and you can avoid all that confusion.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, yeah, it's just a case of you've got to really pay close attention to your citizens in the early game because, yeah, as you said, you don't want them stuck behind a mountain just walking backwards and forth because sometimes the AI, the waypoints, just won't find a way around and then they'll be stuck for literally 2 minutes. And then you look back and yeah, it's one of those maps where you never get your builders to build your city and then walk away, go to the toilet, come back. Because you will come back and you will start crying because your city is still not finished.
Oh yeah, and all your villagers still running around the mountains finding a way. Yeah, that sucks, man.
Exactly.
And another thing about this map is something that can give an unfair advantage. Well, so far looking at city placement, I don't see that's going to happen in this game. But just for an example, so let's look at Dark Master City on this side. Now assume that he's not in a corner and let's say he's in the right corner, okay? And he has this hill right on the left side of him. Now, if an opponent is on his left side, the opponent can start sieging his city from up the hill, and there's no way Dark Master can defend himself unless he goes around the hill and kills that siege. So that can be another annoying thing in this map.
Yeah, correct. And I mean, I'd say it's annoying, but I like the intrigue and the strategy that it brings sometimes, because there are sometimes times where you can siege someone's base from below the cliff, or you can siege their farms, or you can take advantage of the natural terrain to just build a formidable fortress. I mean, if we look at, for example, on this map at Red's base, there's a huge mountain just surrounding Washington there, and that's going to be incredibly difficult to capture because
oh yeah, definitely.
If you've got an army of siege and horses and men, and they have to go single file through this tiny little gap. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie called 300, where Leonidas and his army of 300 Spartan warriors stop, the Persians. But that's what we're talking about here. That's like such a small gap that it's incredibly difficult and slow and cumbersome to try and take that capital. And so he can just, if I was Kane here, I'd consider maybe as the American player going a wonder nice and early, because there's no way they're going to capture it.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, Kane's capital is in a very good position, and I guess everybody got a good place. Nobody seems to be deprived of wood, and yeah, at least looks like it here. And they're not even close to each other, so it's not like we're going to see something like an ancient raid or a first military raid like what we saw in the last game with the British player going with military first.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be probably a more standard kind of boom game where, all the players are going to scout as much as they can, find where the rares are, and, just take towards commerce, civic, and then, eventually mill. We'll probably see some raids going around as well. And then, if we look at the nations quickly, so we've got, as I said before, we've got red at the bottom right here as the Americans. Americans obviously, given his position, a pretty favorable spot to potentially go an early wonder. We've got yellow, which is Lat Inca, the player that arguably made a bit of a blunder last game. We'll see how he plays this game, if he does go for another wonder or not. But he's playing as the Aztecs, which is more of a military, obviously a raiding nation, one that favors military action as opposed to sitting back and booming. And the interesting thing is, Inca is a boomer, and he loves to build wonders. And I mean, it'll be fascinating to see if he plays with his playstyle that he's comfortable with, or if he switches it up and goes for something a little bit more suited to his nation here, which would be, a more raiding and a more military and aggressive style.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're going wonders with Aztecs, well, you're not using Aztecs to their full potential, especially when you've got the Bantu on one side, which are great at raiding, and if you can assist Bantu, well, you can easily win the game early. And let me tell you how good Bantu is. Alan just mentioned, he just said Merda Bantu. That just means, oh shit, they've got Bantu. So you can just see how how strong 1-2 are, because they're the only nation that can get 2 cities right away with the first civic. And their cities are so cheap that even those 2 cities cost less than a single typical city.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, Bantu, I've said this before, but they're such a good nation because they've got so many good things going. They've got the 3 cities, they've got the unlimited population, and they've got the fast raiders. And
I like how you call that unlimited population, because nobody ever reaches that. I mean, I've never seen anybody max out a Bantu population in an advanced game. Yes,
exactly
that's
right.
literally unlimited population.
It's very, very unusual. I mean, sometimes occasionally you might have those big games on Great Lakes where, you just have such monster economies and someone will sit there and just build infinite troops, and eventually I've seen a guy once who played as Bantu with a Colossus. And Colossus, correct me if I'm wrong, it adds 50 to your population.
Oh yes, you are
And
right.
so it was a population limit of, I believe, 225 to 250, and it was absolutely insane. I've never seen that many units, and when you try and select them all, you actually can't fit them on the screen. So the game puts them all into their own little tile on the GUI. So yeah, it was absolutely insane and impossible to play against.
All right, and looks like Snow has already got his civic done. And in Mongols, yeah, we have not talked about these nations on the other side in the LAT team 4. So we've got LAT Allen as Mongols. Based on his game, like his previous game, I would say he would be really able to use Mongols properly. And
Yeah, I think absolutely, and I mean,
just since Pompilio has commented here, he's asked. They have not discovered the Aztec player yet, so he's asking what if the other player is Lakota. And yes, that's definitely a concern. If you don't see the third player, you should be looking out for a Lakota player, because they can sneak right behind you. You would never know.
yeah, exactly. And I'm impressed by your lingual skills here, Jatin. Can you speak Spanish? Because I'm really impressed that you're able to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, yo puedo hablar un poco, but I'm not very fluent at it. I speak sometimes with my colleagues here.
Very nice.
I'm in
Wow.
Florida, and there are a lot of Spanish speakers. I can read mostly. I can write a little bit, but no, not a great speaker. I don't think I'll be able to comment just like Loki does. Yeah, I won't be able to do that.
Yeah, I think, AL Lockie, he's doing a great job with keeping the Spanish casts going. So anyone who can speak Spanish, that's their natural language, please check out AL Lockie on YouTube. But I think he might have a rival right now with you, Jatin. So keep up the Spanish, and I'm glad you're here to translate all the chat that's going on between these guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, so as we were talking about, Alan has got Mongols here, and Mongols definitely one of the fastest nations in the beginning. And you can see that he's already going for an attack. I do feel that position of the barracks is not the best, because it might get sieged later down in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Look, if you look at that barracks placement, there's the only advantage there is the fact that it's a little bit closer. Your rush is a little bit faster because your units have less distance to walk.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing that concerns me there is, firstly, in the early game, if the other team can kind of, fend off your units and then build a tower in range of it, that tower can effectively mean that you've just wasted that barracks.
Oh,
so
yes.
I would have liked to have seen that barracks, a little bit further back, maybe in line with the city or slightly to the left of the city, because it's not much of a further distance to walk.
All right, and that's a bad engagement that Alan is taking there. He is going to lose one of his slingers. Just making sure. Are you in sync with me? I'm at 9 minutes 35 seconds.
Yeah, I think I'm slightly behind, but I'll just catch up now, so that's
Okay.
absolutely fine.
All right, I'll just pause for 3 seconds.
I'm at 9:45.
All right. So yeah, that's good now. And
Yep.
Alan lost one of them, and Snow lost one unit too, and he just managed to run away with one unit. So that's a great micro. You should always try to save as many units as possible. Meanwhile,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Snow is still raiding behind. If you can see, I did not see that. Yeah, he's got two bowmen and one hoplite.
Yeah, that's a good good raid here.
Yeah, he's
and making
vacated
advantage
that
of those
whole
bounty.
woodcutter camp.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at the wood income for green here, and you know it's already down to 60. And you know he's having to bring his slingers down. He should be able to fend this off, but you know those slingers aren't good against heavy infantry, so it will be interesting to see how they go.
Oh yeah, and so Alan did really nice against Inca last game. I want to see how he fares against Snow. And he's got a nation that could work because, yeah, of course, Mongols is an awesome aggressive nation. Even though Bantu has got the faster infantry, I would still go in favor of Mongols being the better nation here for early aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Bantu having the speed advantage, I guess, in those early, you know, melee stoushes, I guess. But and you can see, yeah, Snow is complaining about the lag.
Oh,
but,
and he's going to lose that unit as well. Man, that's a great micro by Snow. Snow is fighting in Alan's territory, and he killed 3 of his units.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane, and just showing right now that why Snow is considered, you know, historically one of the best Nomad players in the world. And you know, he's uploaded many a game to YouTube before, which has helped many people in the community learn how to play and learn how to micro. But yeah, amazing to watch.
Oh yeah, so LAT Snow is also called Azteca. His real name is Manuel Sanchez, and he has his own YouTube channel. And I think he's one of the first YouTubers for Rise of Nations. So if you guys want to check out his channels, he does not do commentary, but he has his direct gameplays. He does not, yeah, he has his direct gameplays, both Nomad and Standard in team and 1 versus 1. If you're interested, please check out his channel. I know he does not advertise it a lot, but he's still got around 100+ subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you look at green right now, Alan, still in a lot of trouble here. I mean, no wood income coming in now besides the 60 wood, and you know, trying to build a tower to basically permanently shut off the threat of those raids. But you know, really setting him behind. Meanwhile, you know, you've got LAT-1. They've all reached age 2, and clearly got the technology advantage going into this, and probably the rare advantage as well.
Oh yeah, so let's finish talking about the nations first. We still got stuck at the Mongols. So then we've got here Egyptians here. Egyptians are awesome, and it looks like who's the Egyptian player here? Pompilia has gone science and commerce. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's an interesting choice of tech there. I would argue that's very ambitious, I guess, given
oh yeah, definitely.
given how they know how aggressive Snow and Kane can be, and just as we say that, we can see that, you know, Washington obviously has gone with the Wonder as well, which takes advantage of the Americans being able to instantly build them.
All right, and yeah, the Chinese players got a city in the center, so that would be good in case somebody wants to rush from this side. So the Chinese city is a large city, so it's difficult to destroy. That's going to help them, and I feel that Pompilio should get his eco up to 150 as soon as possible, and that's when he can make the best out of his extra commerce.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're going to go a technology choice like he has, you've just got to go all out for it. I mean, there's no point going halfway, getting commerce 2, and then not taking advantage of, you know, the extra commerce cap, or, you know, the ability to trade and buy resources with your gold. And meanwhile, you can see that, you know, Alan has got his stables up, and he's got as the Mongols, he's got his horse archers, or the nomads.
Oh yeah,
running around looking to raid. So it'll be interesting to see how those horse archers go.
And I think he's heading towards. Let's see where he's heading towards. He probably is going to head towards Dai, and at Dai there is a heavy infantry from Snow waiting to defend, and I don't think that heavy infantry is going to do much damage, just because these nomads have an advantage against any heavy infantry. But that's still a good choice of safety, because heavy infantry is quite versatile for Bantu. They can take down most of the units except archers and these nomads, of course. And they're fast, so if it doesn't work out, you can always run away.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it'd be interesting, because sometimes horse archers, they're good against heavy infantry, but if they stand still for too long,
Oh yeah,
uh,
for sure.
they can still be killed. And you know, some really good micro here from Alan. You know, running away, target firing those rares, but he's trying to get the heavy infantry first. He should be able to take them down. That just goes to show how, you know, even though they're favored against heavy infantry, the heavy infantry can still sometimes win.
All right, and the Inca is coming from the other side, and there is archers chasing these nomads, so it doesn't look good for them. And the nomads are running right into the Inca. Oh man, that's free plunder. That's free plunder bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, good micro there with the nomads there. You know, getting those merchants and then running away. But oh, here we go. Yep, they're down. So
Yeah, and that's a great presence of mind by Inca. I don't know if he was called by Snow or not, but he was right there, ready to take on those units. And just quickly, we are continuing our nation. So yeah, he's got Egyptians. Egyptians is one of those civilizations that can make use of the extra 150 bonus, 50 commerce. So yeah, definitely a good idea. I hope he. Oh my god, but yeah, he is too late for that. He still has not got a 150. Meanwhile, the Chinese player has got a, I think he's got a senator. Or does he not? I don't see
I
his
think
senator yet.
Blue actually hasn't researched the government yet, so I'm not sure if that's a mistake or, you know,
Can you see this? Where Purple's units are?
Yeah, at the top. Yeah, about to engage the Aztec player here.
Oh yeah, so that's quite interesting. I mean, that's a lot of units to go on a raid, and it's definitely not a rush because he does not have enough heavy infantry. But I think that was slightly careless. He should have he should have sent a few units and stayed back home to save Pompilio.
Yeah,
Although
like
it seems like it's working out for him.
Some good foresight there by Dark Master, though. Having those cavalry has really turned the tide here because, you know, those light horses are so good against, you know, the light infantry.
Oh
and
yeah.
The light infantry are the you know, the lifeblood of that Aztec army.
Right, and there comes Azteca to save him, but I think Snow will run away in time. And yeah, the Chinese player, well, Dark Master seems to be doing better than last time. I think that this is something Dark Master was doing in the last game as well. Do you remember he was raiding Snow or Kane back at their capital?
Yeah, the capital, exactly.
Yeah, so it seems like something that Dark Master does a lot. But yeah, last game that was not a good choice, especially when his teammate was getting doubled.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you do have the they have got the senator now for blue. So KO Pompilio does have you know, 200 commerce cap right now, but, you know, unable to make use of it because you've got Americans on his doorstep sieging that city and keeping him under pressure. And the American player has got the pyramids as well. So yeah, so huge, you know, food boost there. Not currently able to max out with the pyramids. You can get up to 200 commerce cap for your food.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, you know, unable to use that, but he is instead investing all his resources into a nice standing army here, which is basically forcing Blue to build units to defend and to stay alive.
Oh yeah, and right now Blue needs Dark Master more just as much as he needed them in the last game, and that's a big army from Kane. I wonder if Inca is going to be in there for help. Now, I do want to point out that the LAT Team 1 has got really good rare resources for this aggression. They've got salt, and they've got horses as well. And I guess they've got obsidian as well. So that's a nice combination.
And you can see here that that Snow is showing why he's one of the best players in the world. Constantly raiding with heavy cavalry, taking down the Silk at the moment, and really giving his team the best advantage they can have.
Oh yeah, and they've got furs as well, man. That's a deadly combination, like salt, horses, obsidian, and furs.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you see this fight right now, you know, between yellow, red, and purple and blue here?
And purple really is a little late. He did an ambush. I don't know why he would do an ambush in this case.
Yeah,
I hope it works out for them, but no, I don't think it is working out for them. Inca is there right in time, And Kane wants to recede. He does not want to continue fighting. I guess. Oh, so Kane is going to H3. That's why.
Oh, and yeah, unfortunate timing there. If they can retake before he got to age 3, that would be ideal for the defending team. But yeah, you can see that Kane and Inca are hitting age 3 before anyone else in this match. And yeah, look, a smart move there to retreat. There's no point using your units if you know that you're about to get a technology advantage and an upgrade advantage over your opponents.
And this is the second time Lat Allen has asked his teammates how they're doing. So man, he is really concerned about the other side.
Yeah, I think anytime your teammates ask you taunt number 56, 56 is always a sign that you're in a little bit of trouble, because if they're worried, if they're concerned, generally it means that you're about to potentially lose your city or something worse.
And I would say if you are in, I know we all have our egos. We don't want to ask for help. We want to win a 1 versus 1, right? Like how it is. But remember, this is a team game. You can always use your team if you need help. If you even think there's a 50% chance that you're gonna need help, just ask for it. It's better to, it's better to ask for help, let down your ego, than to lose the whole game and then your opponent and your allies just taunt you later that why didn't you ask me for help if you needed it.
Exactly, and that's the advantage of these tournament matches between teammates that know each other and can talk to each other. I'm not sure if these guys would potentially be on voice chat, but I recommend for the best teams, if you want to be the best, if you go on voice chat, you can talk to each other during the match. There's no rules against that. It's all about working as a team. So yeah, look, I think in this situation, absolutely you need to call for help, because the best team, a team of champions won't beat a champion team.
And look at that Snow here. He's got a nice economy. He's got 110 knowledge. Yeah, and that's another thing that separates a pro player from a medium or higher inter, is that they know how to balance their economy and their army at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can see that Snow has got a despot, so his units are also cheaper. That's a great use of despot.
You can see yellow is going in, putting pressure on this blue city at the moment too. So it's looking like it's going to be a big army to come up against. But Inca probably not with the best micro as far as the using the units well here goes. So blue holding on for now. Oh
yeah, and that's I mean, going commerce 2 and then senator and not utilizing that commerce income is just a waste of all that research. He could have blue could have gone despotism, and that would still work out for him. I mean, that would have worked out better, because he would have cheaper units. He would also get the plunder every time he kills an enemy unit. So that should have been the choice, but he messed up here, and looks like Snow is taking down Allen on the other side as well.
Yeah, this is looking like the LAT team 1 guys, their quality is starting to show. You can just see that they've got the edge in every way here. I mean, the biggest thing I'd like to point out, we talked about it earlier, but if you check and compare the green player with the rare resources, there's only one rare, it's only wine. Whereas if you check Azteca or LAT Snow, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rares. And rares can really win you the game, especially if you're utilizing them well. And just having those relics, dye, salt, horses, silver, furs, gems, and an obsidian, that is a recipe for disaster if you're up against him in this case.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And the worst part is that LAT Team 4 has not raided the Team 1 rares a lot. I mean, they did try, but they failed mostly. So Snow is even using relics next to his capital, and relics is another awesome rare resource to have in this game. And their gems and furs, they're far away, and they're easily prone to raiding, but the LAT Team 4 does not even know about furs. That's bad scouting, and I don't think they have tried to raid gems throughout this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, look, you can just see on the see right now that the guys on LAT Team 4, they are starting to realize the situation they're in, which is a very dire situation. They're throwing out the GG in the chat. I think, they're starting to tip their hat to LAT Team 1. They know that LAT Team 1 have, simply outplayed them overall in this match. Just look at those rares, and their ability to retain those rares has just been nothing short of incredible. And look, LAT Team 4 unable to put any damage on those other merchants, and LAT Team 1 just absolutely steamrolling at this point.
Oh yeah, and there comes a resign from Dark Master. Alan is out. Yeah, and that's the GG. Well, this game was a clear sweep. I don't think there was any chance LAT-4 could have won. LAT-1 clearly had the better rare resources, and I wouldn't say there was there might be a slight imbalance in the nations as well. Americans, Aztecs, and Bantu, they're really strong. On this side, I would say Mongols and Egyptians are fine if they're allowed to boom, but well, this was not a booming game, so not really. And Mongols was the only good nation on this side. Chinese, well, I don't like Chinese that much.
Yeah, I mean, Chinese are an interesting team to play as, but I feel like on a map like this, would Chinese be in my top 5 to 10 nations? Probably not. More of a fan of Chinese on a water map where you can utilize a map like Aussie Outback, for example, as opposed to a map like Mesa. But overall, Chinese, they're very handy, good for positioning your cities and getting those big cities and trying to get good map control, and blocking up space on this map is often good. But look, overall, if I was to choose between Chinese and Americans, I think I'm going to go Americans every time here.
Oh yeah, that instant wonder and free government, yeah, nothing beats that.
Yeah, exactly. And also the other thing with Americans, every time you build a university, getting one free scholar, it's all these bonuses that really add up to make it a really, really strong nation. And you throw in like a wonder like a Colossus or Pyramids or Hanging Gardens into the mix, and Americans become really scary to play against.
All right, yeah, and yeah, there were some minor mistakes that I want to point out. I don't know if Alan made a lot of mistakes. I mean, it's just that Azteca, he has a nice micro. He was able to raid Alan in the beginning, and he had the edge all over the place. So I wouldn't say Alan made any conspicuous mistake, and that needs to be pointed out. It was just some minor issues. On a blue side, as we have mentioned, going commerce 2 and not utilizing that income, that was a really bad choice.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake, Commerce 2 is a great technology to go before Age 2 in certain situations, in certain maps, or with certain nations. But in this case, as the Egypt player, I think there's a better investment there by putting those resources into an early wonder, such as Hanging Gardens in Age 1 maybe, and just build it with one villager, so that one citizen, so that when it finishes, when you research Age 2, the wonder finishes, and you can get that knowledge income. Or if you could invest it in a Colossus, because it doesn't really matter what map you're on. If you have Colossus, you have a Colossus.
Oh yeah,
Colossus is awesome.
Colossus is awesome, no doubt. And these days I've been taking a liking to Pyramids as well. Pyramids is definitely an underestimated wonder, and it looks like Kane did get a pyramid, so that helped him to get that extra food. And of course, food is good because you can make villagers, you can make heavy infantry, light cavalry, so that helps as well.
Absolutely, and it would be interesting if we could do an interview with Kane right now and ask him, what went through your mind when you decided to go for that pyramids as opposed to, the more common Hanging Gardens or the Colossus. I know if it was me, often the times I go pyramids is when I've spent all my gold and I haven't got any gold left and I just want to build a wonder, and I look at my resources and say, hey, I've got lots of food, I've got lots of wood, it's the only one I can build, so I'm going to go pyramids. And it often works out well because, pyramids, sure, you don't get that knowledge income or that wealth income, but food is the lifeblood of this game. And even as you get to the later ages, food becomes so important, especially once you get to gunpowder age, and it just helps so much in that early game with getting your citizen count up to as high as you need to get it to essentially get that 150 economy going.
Yes. And just responding to some chats that we have missed during the game. So Mashroor Tofa, he asked how many matches has happened in the tournament, and so far there have been 2 matches. This is the third game, and we are still in the preliminary rounds in this, where the 16 teams compete against each other to reach the quarterfinals. And then we've got Immaculate clarifying his doubt. HNZ88 says that we are doing a great job casting. Thank you, HNZ88, and we really appreciate that comment. And we'll try to keep it up and give you more quality content in future as well.
Yeah, we appreciate the feedback, and yeah, please, if you do enjoy watching this, please, the biggest thing we can ask is just spread the word, share it with your friends. You know, who's our target market? It's anyone that enjoys real-time strategy games. So they don't have to necessarily play Rise of Nations, because our whole job is to, you know, try and explain and cast these games in a way so that it can be entertaining for, you know, the guys that are pros, but also the people that haven't played before. They can tune in, you know, learn a bit about how the game works, learn how the nations work, and follow it from the couch, so to speak.
Oh yeah, and Akin Circus, I think he's a young one. He says 720 quality is good. Yeah, I had to tune down the quality from 1080p because I had some streaming issues. But I just hope that you are able to clearly see everything that's happening on the map, and that's all that we are concerned about. If 720p works, I would be happy to just keep it at 720p.
Yeah, and we can try maybe 1080p again at some point if it's going to make the quality better. But yeah,
as long as there's no delay in the stream and we don't have frames being chopped out. I had this problem yesterday, but it looks like fine right now. So yeah, let's go to the stats quickly. If you go to the military, it looks like Snow had a really nice micro, and look at that, he had made 119 units and he killed 50. That's about double of what Alan killed.
Yeah, that's insane. And yeah, look, that just shows that I think anyone who's looking at this tournament and thinking, oh, you know, I might be playing against LAT Team 1 here, you know, they're called LAT Team 1 for a reason. They're in my mind, you know, the #1 seed for the LAT clan at least, and potentially all of South America. Definitely up there with AL clan for you know, in the mix of being the best Latin American team in this tournament. And you know, Lat Snow, Azteca, you know, he's the superstar of Rise of Nations. Everyone knows who he is. And, you know, he's just showing that, you know, put him in any team in the world and he's probably going to come out of the game as one of the MVPs.
Oh, all right. And then looks like Kane also had the largest army. And yeah, I can see that, man. Look at his army going back to the game. That's a really huge army. I don't think anybody else has that big.
Yeah, really impressed by Kane. I mean, so Kane, we'll have to confirm this, but I'm assuming that's Fireman. So we've got Lat Snow is Azteca, but Lat Kane, to be confirmed, but this appears to be Fireman, who, for anyone that doesn't know or might have missed it earlier in the show, Fireman is essentially a player who we haven't seen in playing Rise of Nations much recently, but Fireman was, you know, the guys from LAT were saying, you know, he's this old GameSpy pro who used to be one of the best players in the world. And basically, he's like their secret weapon that they've unveiled to try and take on this tournament of the best players in the world. And we haven't seen him play until tonight. But
oh yeah, and he looks like he's really good, man. I've seen him thrash his way through the opposition easily in both these games.
Yeah, I think he might be the real deal here. I mean, this is, you know, you could argue it's the birth of a legend or maybe the resurrection of a legend here. You know, Lat Kane, Lat Fireman, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of, you know, how he plays. And to be honest, obviously the LAT-4 guys did well here, but you could argue that they're probably one of the more inexperienced teams in the tournament. So whoever the LAT-1 team plays against next, that'll be the real test to see how you go against, you know, real competition, the real best players, you know, constantly raiding and putting harassment on your economy. That's situations where you might not be able to, you know, throw down that pyramids as Americans, because by throwing down pyramids, that's 4 extra units that you can't use to defend, and that might be the difference between winning and losing the match. So will
Or
be interesting to
yes,
see.
yes, and then I'm here at the matchup window where I'm showing the overall schedule of the game of the tournament, and looks like in WB 1.8, LAT-1 has won with the 2-0 again, and so far, well, of course the teams were seeded in a way that we had all the best teams seeded separately. But even like WB 1.8, we did not have LAT team one was not one of the top four choices. But it still seems like every game so far has ended with a 2-0. So would you say there was an imbalance in the matchups?
Yeah, I think you could probably argue that because no, I don't think there was an imbalance, so to speak. But I just think the matches we've seen so far have probably been the ones that are a little bit more one-sided to one team as the favorite, because we have had EL versus AS Underground. EL obviously being uh, definitely a top two seed, if not the number one seed in the tournament. And then you've got In versus PLA2. That was a great match, and to be honest, a lot of people predicted it could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I think, yeah, well, that was a good series. But just you got In managed to hang on and win it 2-0. And then you've got LAT Team 1 versus LAT Team 4. Obviously, just as an observer, even if you don't know anything about the teams, the fact that you've got the number one team versus the number four team in the same clan,
Yeah.
always going to be a tough match, unless that was a secret surprise tactic to hide their best players in the number four team, which that would be a cool
Interesting.
tactic.
That would be cool, man. So now,
But yeah,
so the winner of PLA or AZ2 is going to 2.4 and playing against LAT Team 1. So I know you are the clan captain for AZ Team 1, and do you have any advice in case AZ Team 2 wins against PLA? Although, by the way, do you think AZ Team has a chance against PLA? PLA was one of the top rated teams in our tournament. A lot of captains rated it as the top four contender.
yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely gripping match. I'm really excited for it. Obviously, yeah, with AZ being my clan, I won't be part of that match, but I'll be definitely, I guess, cheering on the boys from the sideline, so to speak. But I mean, PLA, it'll be interesting to see who they throw out as their roster here. I mean, we did see that, early on in the tournament, EL put out some of their second players just to kind of warm them up, maybe keep the first roster a little bit fresh for matches later in the tournament. We saw that Boo and Dave didn't play in that first match, which surprised a lot of people, but obviously it was a good move. And you've got the same thing here with PLA. Who are they going to throw out? I mean, PLA has such a stacked roster. They've got PLA Mouse, Mouse being one of the best players, probably up there with you think of Azteca as the best player in Latin America. I think Mouse might be the best player in all of Asia. I mean, that's how good he is. And he's been a bit inactive recently, but such a good player. It's going to be so awesome to see him as part of their roster. And then who else plays with him? I mean, we've got Timeless, great player. You've got Angelo, always solid.
Oh, Angelo is a really nice player. Yeah, Angelo and Mouse definitely in their best.
And the thing is, it really depends. They could throw out so many different lineups here. I mean, they've also got TNO and they've also got Linky in their roster, and Linky is absolutely on fire
Oh
lately.
yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, they could throw out any combination of those five players: TNO, Linky, Mouse, Timeless, and Angelo, and yeah, they're all going to be equally as hard to beat. So I think for AZ2 here, it's really going to have to come down to teamwork. Can they communicate well with each other? Can they figure out strategies that basically make the most of their nations in the situation? And all I can say is they shouldn't be afraid to try something new, because sometimes in Rise of Nations, if you spot an opportunity, if you spot a woodcutter camp that you can just go for, that could swing the whole match. And so it's all about who can react the fastest, because when the game starts, no one knows what nation they're going to be until the loading screen comes up. And it really comes down to who can adapt the fastest. Can Ayuzaki, he'll be the captain of AZ2 here, can Ayuzaki, use his chess skills to really move those chess pieces in game and really get his nations and get his team humming and working together as a team? That's what it's going to come down to, and it's going to be such a fascinating match to watch.
Oh yeah, and so let's just quickly looking at the tournament. Looks like the next game that we have up is. Do you have the screen up?
Yeah, I do. Yep. And I can see exactly what you can see on the stream now, so
Okay,
all
so
good.
it's just that something's wrong with my with my display. I'm using a dual GPU setup, so I can
Mhm.
either I can either broadcast the game or I can either show my desktop screen. So that's why I'm not able to showcase my browser right now. But I'll just show it, tell it to the viewers according to the schedule, which you can access through the website, the tournament website. And the next schedule is supposed to be PLA versus AZ2. That's today
Yeah,
at 10 p.m. London time.
yeah, absolutely. I think that is coming up soon. I know that the pre-match talk, I guess, is that PLA originally sent through a request to have the match postponed today.
Hmm.
This was discussed with all the players from AZ, but unfortunately there were players that couldn't play on Sunday. So after a bit of discussions back and forth between the captains, the time has been set for the Saturday, which is in UTC time. I believe that's in Saturday morning in Indian time and around lunchtime around 12:30 in China,
Hmm.
around about. So that match is not too far away, and obviously as soon as that's played, we'll be getting straight onto that and bringing it to you guys live as soon as we can.
Yes, and that's going to be an exciting match. I want to see what AZ2 has up its sleeve. We already are aware of the PLA players, but yeah, quite excited for the AZ team.
Yeah, and I just wanted to shout out. There was a comment on the Twitch stream here from Ron Palero 1990. A good comment there. He just made the comment that Egypt had to get the Colossus there against Bantu and potentially a Colossus America. Just no chance versus that setup, and I think that's a valid comment to make. As Egypt, you've got to make the most of your nation bonuses, and going Commerce 2 there as opposed to going for the Wonder, I think was
Oh yeah, yeah.
probably
I
a
do
mistake
agree. I
going
do
forward.
agree with that. Especially when you're not able to utilize your commerce limit. While Egyptians is one of those nations that can, I think they can max up on the food, at least on 200 food with two cities, thanks to their 7 farms in each city.
Yeah,
So that was
oh,
a wasted
exactly.
opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, but ultimately, LAT Team 1, they're so experienced, they're able to get all the rares. And once you get relics, salt, horses, diamonds, gems, it becomes crazy hard to fight against that. So, no, ultimately, you got to take your hat off sometimes and just say, well done and GG.
Yeah. And I guess, is there anything else we want to tell the viewers about?
No, I think that's about it. As I said before, just make sure you share the links. Obviously, once this cast is finished, it will be permanently uploaded to the YouTube site, which is YouTube Rise of Patience, and there will also be VODs on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/EasyCronHD. So make sure you share those VODs, the videos on demand with friends, maybe even family. If you've got family members who like Rise of Nations, share it with them, get them involved, make sure they watch. And we're only in the round of 16 at the moment. So we're just dipping our toe in the water. The best matches are coming up. And I mean, in round of 16, there's so many good games that we've got just on the horizon here. We've got, aside from PLA versus AZ2, we've got, Row versus AS Alpha.
Oh man,
That's going to,
that's going to be a really much awaited game. Both the teams quite strong.
absolutely. I mean, you've got Haha versus Zeus. You've got Spyrodon versus who else is in row? Dane? No, Dane's on Fort Valley. Sorry.
Yeah,
You've got
mhm.
Toilet Snake as well, and you've got Gabriel. So it's going to be crazy. Can't wait for that match.
Yeah,
And and I
it's
think
going to be a phenomenal match there. I'm just going to the players roster for Row, and yeah, Row. So a recent addition to Row's team, you might have heard of him. Cypher, he's here.
I believe Cypher was added to the roster as a backup.
Hmm.
Cypher being a great player. However, I believe Cypher, from what I've heard, may not be able to actually feature as an active player because of various commitments. So unlikely that Cypher is going to play, but I guess that is a wild card there. But I would expect their roster would be Zeus, Shut Up, and Toilet Snake, who is a great boom player.
Oh yeah, and Toilet Snake is going to be the not the best, not the best player in this roster. Zeus, Shut Up, Cypher. This is going to be the best that they can get, and I feel against AS Alpha they should probably get their bests. And Princess has already played as AS Underground, so I don't think she can play again in AS Alpha.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
she'll be ineligible to play. You can only play for one team in the tournament, so yeah, we can fix that up. But yeah, if you look at Sermon, Haha, Noob Hater, and Spyrodon, to be honest, they're some of those players are more experienced than others, but I feel like you could really get any three of those, and it would be a strong roster. So it'll be a tough decision for whoever makes that call as a team of who they put out as their first lineup, because that could really make the whole difference here.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, let's wait for the next match, and until then, we'll see you guys later.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will talk soon.
Yes, and just subscribe to my channel and please follow EasyCron HD on Twitch. We are both organizing this tournament, making sure that all the commentary goes live to you guys. So just show some support whenever you guys can. And thank you for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.